German coupe that took a staggering 15 long, arduous years to come to fruition. It conquered hearts, and then it continued to captivate. This is Forensic on Audi R8. Before we delve into the Audi R8, we have to take a moment to talk about Audi's golden age. In 1977, Audi's chassis engineer, Jörg Benzinger, proposed the idea for a high-performance four-wheel drive car. Audi swiftly got to work, and by 1980, the Audi Quattro competition car debuted. The Audi Quattro dominated the competition. However, despite Audi's domination in rally racing, there was still a void in its product range. While they had sedans, wagons, and the sporty Quattro coupe, they lacked a flagship car that could outshine everything else. Audi began exploring the idea of a production supercar with the Quattro Spider concept in 1991. This stunning concept car boasted an aluminum body, a mid-engine layout, and a removable glass roof. Behind the driver sat a 2.8-liter V6 with 172 horsepower. While that power plant was by no means within supercar territory, it served as a starting point for Audi's supercar aspirations. Even though Audi didn't plan for production, dealers still received thousands of advanced order queries from prospective buyers. Shortly after the Quattro Spider, Audi presented the Avis concept. This second aluminum-bodied supercar study featured a more aggressive design and a powerful 509 horsepower 6-liter W12 engine. However, despite having almost a decade of on-track success, the technology, and the funds, Audi was still hesitant about translating its track success to the streets by building a supercar. Fortunately for Audi, another company was also exploring the idea of a supercar. In November 1993, due to the recession, Chrysler announced the sale of Automobili Lamborghini to Megatech. After the acquisition, Lamborghini sent the two remaining P140 prototypes, a prototype made under Chrysler's ownership to replace Jalpa, to Ital design. There, the original Marcello Gandini body was replaced with a more contemporary design. The resulting car was unveiled as the Cala at the Geneva Motor Show in 1995. However, despite these efforts, sales of high-performance exotics were still struggling during this time. As a result, Automobili Lamborghini was sold to the Volkswagen Audi division in 1998. At the time, an Audi spokesperson said the purchase was a long-term investment, just like subscribing to my channel. Audi's first act was to redesign the L147 supercar, which was already under development. It eventually became the successful Murcielago. The second act was to transform Cala into an affordable Lamborghini that could be used as a reliable daily driver. This car was subsequently named Gallardo and made its debut in 2003. After completing the Gallardo project, Audi redirected its attention toward developing their flagship sports car, and by 2003, a sneak peek of the R8's design was unveiled at the Geneva Motor Show under the name RSQ. It featured a brand new exterior on the foundation of a twin-turbo Gallardo. During that very same year, Audi also introduced the Audi Le Mans Quattro concept car, offering a genuine glimpse into what the company's future held. Drawing inspiration from the RSQ, the Le Mans Quattro was named to reflect the success of the R8 race car's consecutive victories at Le Mans. Like RSQ, the Le Mans Quattro boasted cutting-edge technology and featured a twin-turbo V10 TFSI engine. With the introduction of this concept car, the groundwork for the R8 was firmly established. The first R8s would come in 2005, and full production began in 2006. The R8 took overall proportions from the Audi Le Mans Quattro concept, and Audi's design team tweaked the aesthetic just to match and top the rest of the model range. Nonetheless, in production form, the R8 looked nothing short of amazing. Like its sibling, the R8's chassis was built using lightweight materials, most notably the aluminum space frame, a monocoque body built using space frame fundamental principles. Carbon fiber and magnesium were strategically used to bring the weight down without compromising the car's construction and rigidity. Under the boot, rather than the twin-turbo V10 engine used in the concept, the R8 was initially powered by a mid-mounted 4.2-liter fuel-stratified injection V8 engine. The engine's basic architecture was almost the same as in the then Audi RS4, but the R8 used dry sump lubrication. Now, if you want to see what happens to a car without a dry sump system, watch this video. This 4.2-liter dual overhead camshaft engine with variable valve timing produced 420 horsepower and 317 lb-ft of torque. The R8 was offered the option of a 6-speed manual transmission with a gated shifter or a 7-speed R-tronic automatic transmission, both of which were positioned behind the engine. While this setup doesn't optimize weight distribution, with the Gallardo and R8 maintaining a ratio of 42:58, it does allow for a narrower transmission tunnel, resulting in improved interior space. The R8 featured a quattro drivetrain, distributing torque with 30% to the front and 70% to the rear, which was similar to the all-wheel drive Gallardo. As a result, the projected performance figures indicated a mid-4 second 0 to 60 miles per hour acceleration, reaching 100 miles per hour in just over 10 seconds and achieving 0 to 125 miles per hour in around 15 seconds. The R8's top speed was recorded at 177 miles per hour. The R8's straightforward engineering approach ensured unparalleled reliability, earning it widespread acclaim as the ultimate supercar in the market. Therefore, when the announcement came in 2008 that the R8 would be equipped with a V10 engine, it came as a surprise to many, given that Audi's initial 2 prototypes, the RSQ and Le Mans Quattro, had featured a twin-turbo V10 engine. What's more, Audi had been actively testing a twin-turbo V10 setup for the R8. And there was even an incident in early 2008 where one of the R8 prototypes caught fire. The prototype was fitted with the same 571 horsepower twin-turbo V10 that was fitted to the Audi RS6, which would have resulted in blistering Nürburgring lap times. Unfortunately, the heat from the turbos resulted in engine overheating, which resulted in catching on fire. Since then, Audi has moved to the naturally aspirated V10. The 5.2-liter V10 FSI engine was derived from the Gallardo and found its way into not only the R8, but also the S6 and S8 models of that era. With the addition of extra cylinders, the R8's power output was elevated significantly, delivering an impressive 525 horsepower and 391 pound-foot of torque. As a more refined variant, the V10 model boasted enhanced features such as upgraded styling, a meticulously redesigned interior, and an innovative all-LED headlight system. Furthermore, to complement its heightened performance, the V10 model was equipped with larger rear brakes and slightly larger side blades, which were made of carbon fiber. These slightly larger side blades serve as an easy way to differentiate the V10 from the V8 model. 2008 also saw one of the most remarkable concept cars, the R8 TDI. This concept car showcased an extraordinary 500 horsepower twin-turbo V12 diesel engine, boasting an impressive 738 pound-foot of torque. Notably, this V12 TDI engine shared close ties with the powertrain found in the Audi R10, a Le Mans winning race car. Although a functional prototype was created, Audi ultimately decided to cancel the development due to the inability to recoup the costs associated with re-engineering the R8 through investments and subsequent sales. However, instead of fitting the V12 TDI engine into an Aventador to create a monster, Audi opted to incorporate it into the Q7. To add insult to injury, the V12 Q7 was not available in the United States. In 2011, Audi introduced the R8 Spider. This new addition, boasting the same 5.2 V10 engine and later an updated V8 engine, joined the lineup, with both the coupe and convertible now producing 424 horsepower and 317 pound-foot of torque. To maintain safety, convertible R8s received structural reinforcements such as additional chassis support and rollover safety bars, and there were also minor changes to the mechanics. However, please bear in mind that the R8 Spider from 2011 to 2012 underwent a recall due to a potential fire hazard. This issue was caused by the fuel supply line potentially coming into contact and rubbing against the heat shield in the engine compartment. If you currently own or are considering purchasing an R8 Spider from this specific period, verify whether the car has undergone the necessary recall to address this concern. Now let's continue with the show. In addition to the regular R8 models, there were more than a few special versions produced. The R8 GT, which was limited to 333 units, and R8 LMS featured a conventional rear-wheel drive layout that was designed with the FIA GT3 European Championship in mind. But the most extreme version of the first generation R8 was the LMS Ultra. With the power increased to 570 horsepower, it was the final development of the 500 horsepower R8 LMS. and one step beyond the 2011 R8 LMS. The R8 LMS Ultra boasted a host of critical upgrades, including enlarged air vents, a larger engine oil cooler, a dedicated transmission fluid cooler for the newly introduced pneumatically actuated 6-speed sequential sports transmission, lighter Bilstein dampers, and an optimized body kit that not only enhanced aerodynamics but also bolstered airflow. The R8 LMS Ultra was also the lightest, bringing the weight down to 2,755 pounds. With 700 pounds of weight loss, the R8 LMS Ultra went on to win first and second place in the 24 Hours of Nürburgring 2012, the 40th edition of the race. Gran Turismo TV made an awesome documentary on it. You guys should check it out. Anyway, let's get back to the car. Despite its victories, the car faced two significant problems. The first issue relates to the front suspension mount frame, which was prone to cracking. Although the problem occurred extremely rarely, with a failure rate of less than 1%, if it did occur, it could cost around $30,000 from Audi. This problem could be triggered by a severe front-wheel collision, but could also result from normal driving conditions like encountering numerous potholes or speed bumps over time. The material used for the front suspension frame, cast from relatively low-grade aluminum, concentrated the force from the front shock absorber in a small area, making it susceptible to brittle fracture from high impact force and fatigue failure from repetitive, normal suspension forces. While the issue had a failure rate of well less than 1%, if the joint ends up completely separating, it could necessitate a full frame realignment from Audi, which is a costly repair, typically amounting to around $30,000. As anticipated, this hefty price tag has prompted some individuals to explore alternative solutions. All Audi R8 models manufactured before mid-2010 were affected by this issue. However, Audi took steps to address the problem in cars produced after 2010 by implementing reinforcement plates to mitigate the risk of frame cracking. Nonetheless, for individuals who own or are considering purchasing R8 models produced before mid-2010, it's crucial to inspect the frame for cracks. If none are found, there's an option to proactively retrofit the reinforcement plate, available from Audi. I'll drop some links to specialized forums dedicated to addressing Audi R8 suspension and frame concerns. There, you can find valuable insights from other Audi R8 owners on whether to retrofit reinforcement plates or not. The second concern, more centered around personal preference, involves the R-tronic gearbox in the R8. Although it is reliable, its speed and smoothness fall short of the expectations typically associated with a high-end vehicle. The R-tronic transmission is essentially an automated version of the 6-speed manual gearbox that allows for both automatic and manual shifting through paddle shifts or the gear lever. However, it employs a single clutch system, which causes lag and jerkiness when changing gears without lifting off the accelerator. This is because keeping the foot on the accelerator during gear changes leads to a momentary power cut until the clutch disengages and then rapidly re-engages, resulting in rough gear shifts. To achieve a smoother ride, one can engage in sports mode and lift off the accelerator, emulating a manual driving style. However, even with this approach, the gear shift time does not improve significantly, and
it was a little bit rubbish.
As a result, the R-tronic transmission was phased out, making room for the cutting-edge S-tronic transmission in 2013. Setting aside marketing jargon, the S-tronic transmission is a 7-speed dual-clutch gearbox with 2 separate clutches for odd and even gear sets. To illustrate a picture, imagine you're launching your R8. When you get into the second gear, since your car is in a launch state, the transmission control module would pre-connect the sleeve of the third gear even while the second gear sleeve is engaged. To transition to the third gear, all that's required is to release the blue clutch set and engage the green clutch set, thus ensuring a seamless power flow during the transition phase. This meticulous control mechanism guarantees a driving experience that is responsive, smooth, and reliable. Alongside these advancements in transmission technology, Audi implemented several upgrades to all R8 models in 2013. These enhancements encompassed a facelift, a reduction in dry weight, and the integration of updated LED headlights and taillights. Additionally, a new model named the R8 V10 Plus was introduced to the R8 lineup as a coupe, boasting an increased performance to 542 horsepower. When pairing the R8 V10 Plus with the S-tronic transmission, you get a 0 to 60 time of 3.3 seconds and top speed of 197 miles per hour. Alongside the standard R8 models, several special editions were produced, such as the R8 V10 LMX, designed for collectors with only 99 units produced in Aura Blue. This model boasted a robust V10 engine delivering 570 horsepower, coupled with a 7-speed S-tronic transmission for rapid acceleration, reaching 60 miles per hour in just over 3 seconds and a top speed of 199 miles per hour. The R8 V10 LMX was supposed to be the first production car to debut with laser headlight technology. But sadly, BMW snatched that title away from Audi. Notably, the R8 V10 LMX marked the final special edition, using the Type 42 chassis, as production ceased in August 2015. Ever since then, the automotive press has consistently praised its crisp performance, flawless road holding, unexpectedly comfortable ride quality, and its depreciation, which outperformed its competitors. However, with the platform now shared with the Lamborghini Gallardo, any issues encountered won't come with a modest price tag. If you're considering acquiring a Type 42 R8, it's crucial to conduct a thorough inspection of specific aspects. For instance, verify whether adaptive magnetic ride works properly, since replacing adaptive magnetic struts can be costly.
How much is it to replace a single strut?
From Audi dealership, 2,200.
Given the age of the vehicle, see whether the AC works, considering that replacing the AC compressor necessitates engine removal due to its location at the front of the engine. Additionally, while inspecting, check for any condensation in the upper right corner of the engine bay window. The presence of condensation might indicate a split coolant reservoir. A common issue with Type 42 R8, Audi initiated a campaign in 2019 to address this problem by installing a tensioning strap to prevent coolant tank separation. However, it's important to note that this fix may eventually fail. The R8 coolant tank can be expensive, but thanks to Audi's practice of sharing parts, the R8's coolant tank is identical to the one used in the Q7. This provides a more budget-friendly alternative with the same functionality. Another concern for Type 42 R8 is their tendency to overstress their front differential on certain dyno machines, potentially leading to breakage. Setting aside the previously mentioned concerns, the R8 has proven to be exceptionally reliable. With approximately 28,600 Type 42 R8 manufactured between 2006 and 2015, it not only earned a robust reputation on the streets, but also made a significant mark on the track. The R8 didn't merely stay confined to the European track. It dominated the American tracks. In 2013, a customized R8 LMS Ultra was engineered to compete in the prestigious 24 Hours of Daytona. This version underwent modifications, including a power detune to 460 horsepower, reduced fuel capacity, and the elimination of traction control and ABS systems to meet series requirements. Additional adjustments to aerodynamics, the incorporation of a stiffer roll cage, and the addition of an Earnhardt bar were implemented. The R8 Grand Am secured both the first and second positions in the GT classes, further cementing the enduring legacy of Audi. This success of the original R8 inspired the development of the second generation R8. The second generation of the Audi R8, known as the Type 4S, was unveiled at the 2015 Geneva Motor Show. Sharing the spotlight with the R8 were R8 LMS and R8 e-tron production cars. Starting with the regular R8, the manual transmission was ditched, as well as the V8 model. Two trim levels were introduced, the R8 V10, the base model with 533 horsepower, and R8 V10 Plus with 602 horsepower. Apart from the power increase, the Type 4 SR8 is much lighter and stiffer compared to the Type 42 R8, thanks to the substitution of several large aluminum parts in the shell for carbon fiber. The new R8 got a water-cooled front differential and a passive limited slip rear differential, along with electromechanical power steering, and extra electronics are incorporated into the chassis compared to the first generation to improve handling. The virtual cockpit, first introduced in the TT, was also made available. Design-wise, it had a big grille that made BMW jealous, and the distinctive side blades present behind the doors on the Type 42 have now been split into two and are present on the rear side windows and below the belt line. Notably, the R8 e-tron's lower side blade is surrounded with an LED light strip. Talking about the e-tron, it was initially revealed as a concept at the 2009 Frankfurt Motor Show, and it was intended to go into production in 2012. However, slow progress in battery technology delayed development for so long that the process actually spanned two generations of R8. The R8 e-tron sports car boasts an impressive performance. It uses two electric motors on the rear axle, which producing a total of 456 horsepower and 920 pound-foot of torque. Building on the tech scene, this second generation model uses a T-shaped battery pack down the spine of the car and behind the seats to lower the center of gravity. Power density is nearly double that of its forerunner. Hence, it had an impressive range of 279.6 miles. It could sprint from 0 to 62 miles per hour in 3.9 seconds, while it had a top speed of 155 miles per hour. Fewer than 100 R8 e-trons were made. Available exclusively to buyers in Europe, and with a price tag of north of 1 million euros for an electric car in 2015, it it was doomed from the start. The same can't be said for the R8 LMS GT3 car. Like the regular R8, it had a 5.2-liter V10 engine, but it produced 585 horsepower and 406 pound-foot of torque and was connected to a 6-speed sequential gearbox. Following in the footsteps of its predecessor, the R8 LMS GT3 dominated the track and finished in first place at the 24 Hours Nürburgring in 2015. Transitioning from the track-dominating R8 LMS GT3 to the streets, Audi expanded its R8 lineup to cater to enthusiasts seeking the thrill of an open-top driving experience. In 2016, the R8 Spider made its debut, offering a convertible variant. Like the standard R8, it housed a formidable 5.2-liter V10 engine under its hood. Initially, it was only available with the standard V10 engine, but the V10 Plus variant was added to the range in mid-2017. Building on this success, Audi seemed poised to deliver exactly what enthusiasts desired, with the only exception being the absence of a manual transmission. They even introduced a limited production of 999 rear-wheel drive R8, available as both coupes and convertibles, all equipped with the standard 540 horsepower engine for those seeking a traditional raw supercar experience. However, this optimistic situation took a sudden turn for the worse when the R8 faced a significant setback between 2017 and 2018. A troublesome recall emerged, stemming from concerns about a fire hazard caused by transmission fluid seepage from the gearbox ventilation hose. Now, you might wonder why gearboxes need a ventilation hose. Well, as the gearbox heats up during operation, the enclosed air seeks expansion. Without a proper vent, this pressure buildup can compel the lubricant to escape through the housing joints, potentially resulting in bearing or gasket failure and creating a messy situation outside the housing. To address this issue, gearboxes utilize ventilation hoses, allowing the expanding air to safely dissipate. However, in the case of the R8, there was a risk of transmission fluid leakage from the gearbox ventilation hose, particularly during high-speed maneuvers. The concern here was that if this leaked fluid came into contact with hot engine components, it could significantly elevate the risk of a vehicle fire, a highly undesirable scenario. Fortunately, Audi implemented a solution to this issue. Instead of relying on a single hose ventilation system, Audi introduced a new double ventilation hose, effectively increasing the expansion volume and preventing oil leaks. So if you have an R8 or going to purchase a R8 from 2017 or 2018, check whether it's gone through the recall. The R8 underwent a mid-cycle facelift in 2019, which happened to align with the celebration of a decade of the V10 model. The updated R8 featured a more distinctive appearance, characterized by angular front styling with bumpers incorporating prominent winglet-style elements on both sides and a wider, more aggressive grille. Above the grille, 3 smaller intakes paid homage to the Audi Quattro. This time, there were 3 powertrain options available right from the beginning. The lineup began with the R8 RWD featuring a rear-wheel drive powertrain and boasting 533 horsepower along with 3 98 pound-feet of torque. Following that, there were the base R8 V10 Quattro and the V10 Performance. The V10 Quattro delivered 562 horsepower, while the V10 Performance offered an impressive 612 horsepower. These enhancements extended beyond the engine, encompassing the inclusion of a gasoline particulate filter across all models, the adoption of larger carbon ceramic brakes, and the introduction of a new steering rack system, resulting in a more immediate and responsive driving experience. Customers were also given the option to include a carbon fiber roll bar, reducing weight by 2 kilograms. However, the R8 RWD underwent a more assertive weight reduction due to the removal of the Quattro system. The coupe, in particular, saw a weight loss of 65 kilograms compared to its Quattro counterpart, while the Spider shed 55 kilograms in comparison to the Quattro Spider. Thanks to these improvements, the R8 V10 RWD model achieved an impressive 0 to 60 miles per hour time of just 3.6 seconds, while the R8 V10 Performance model sprinted from 0 to 60 miles per hour in an astonishing 3.1 seconds and achieved a top speed of 330 kilometers per h. Furthermore, alongside the standard R8, Audi's GT3 racing car, the Audi R8 LMS, also underwent a name change and was rebranded as the Audi R8 LMS Evo. This racing machine received a series of updates to its bodywork, including the introduction of a new front splitter aimed at enhancing downforce, in addition to enhancements made to the gearbox. In parallel with the Audi R8 LMS Evo, Audi introduced the R8 LMS GT2, which marked the inception of a novel racing class known as GT2. This class was designed to serve as a bridge between the GT3 and GT4 series, with races scheduled in Europe and North America. The unique aspect of the R8 LMS GT2 was its foundation on a road-going R8 Spider chassis. This allowed for a lower roofline, facilitating increased airflow into the V10's roof-mounted scoop. As a result, the GT2 variant produced an impressive 640 horsepower and generated over 406 pound-feet of torque, surpassing the power output of both the GT3, GT4, and street-legal V10 Plus versions. Given that you would expect GT2 to be faster still, but you'd be wrong. It's more powerful than GT3, but it's got less aerodynamic downforce and more weight, making for a slower lap time. In 2021, Audi discontinued the base V10 Quattro and RWD to introduce an upgraded version of the rear-wheel drive coupe and Spider, the V10 RWD Performance. This new model features a slightly detuned engine compared to the V10 Quattro variant, with 562 horsepower and a slight reduction in torque at 406 pound-feet of torque. This rear-wheel drive model gains access to performance and handling features previously reserved for Quattro models, including dynamic steering, carbon fiber stabilizers, and ceramic disc brakes. With these new improvements, the R8 V10 Performance RWD coupe could sprint from 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds. However, as all good things should come to an end, Audi has confirmed that 2023 will mark the conclusion of production for the Type 4S generation. This decision provides the company with an opportunity to bid farewell to the R8 with a grand finale by introducing the R8 GT RWD. This R8 GT RWD is the most powerful rear-wheel drive Audi apart from the R8 GT2, with a mid-mounted 5.2-liter naturally aspirated V10 producing 602 horsepower and 417 pound-feet of torque. It can accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 3.4 seconds and topping out at 199 miles per hour. The car is 20 kilograms lighter than the standard R8 Performance RWD, achieved through features like sports bucket seats and lightweight forged wheels. Carbon fiber reinforced plastic is used for the front anti-roll bar, and buyers can choose between standard sports suspension or a race-bred coilover suspension. This limited edition R8 GT RWD serves as a fitting farewell, as deliveries of the R8 soared by 101% in 2023, reaching 631 cars compared to the prior year when only 314 units were sold. Before we wrap up today's video, I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to each and every one of you for your incredible support. Your likes, comments, and overall enthusiasm mean the world to me. If you enjoyed this video today, please give it a like and consider subscribing to our channel for more content like this. Your support means a lot to us and helps us continue making informative and educational videos. Thanks again, and see you in our next video.